Hello, everybody. Rick, the retired Texan. I'm going to talk about politics in this video, and let me make sure all of you are clear on something. I'm not going to make this a political YouTube channel. I just don't want it to be slanted in that direction at all. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my take on politics. First, let me tell you, when I was really young, I became very interested in politics a lot younger than most people do. And like everything else with me, when I get interested in it, I've got this obsessive compulsive thing about me. When I get interested in something, I just get consumed by it. So in the early days, I got real interested in politics. Next thing you know, I found myself just entrenched in one of the two parties. And I was convinced that everything that this party stood for was right on, was dead on with the way the way things should be, and the other party were crazy and all that kind of stuff. And I fell for everything that this one party said to me, hook, line, and sinker. Well, fast forward now, 40 years later, or more than that, 45 years later, I'm going to share with you what's really going on in the political world from my perspective. Politicians are like entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is not going to flourish unless they can provide something for you that you need or you think you need. If an entrepreneur can do that, they're probably going to be successful. It's exactly the way politicians are, folks. You have to have a problem or a perceived problem that they can solve for you, or they don't feel useful. If they think they're solving problems for you, if they can convince you that they're solving problems for you, whether they're problems you really have or don't have, you'll probably vote for them next time they run. It's what politicians do. The difference between politicians and entrepreneurs, the main difference, is most entrepreneurs, I would say, are honest, and most politicians are not. Or at the very least, most politicians are very deceitful. They just can't, most of them just cannot be upfront and honest about anything. They just can't. It's just not the culture in the political world, folks. It's just not. It's all about conning you into thinking you need their services, even when you don't. That's just what it's all about. And we are going to have to stop falling victim to this, because it is absolutely tearing us apart, because there's way too many of us that have become useful idiots for a political party. Let me explain to you something about these two political parties. About every 1 to 2 generations, they almost completely redefine their party. You know, these are two teams that are constantly trading the issues back and forth. The current Republican Party, for example, are fighting for a lot of things that used to be things that the Democrats used to fight for. And a lot of the Democrats now are talking about things that remind me of the old Republicans. These two parties are constantly playing a shell game with all the various topics. And you fall for it. You fall for it. because you don't understand what's going on in the political world. But you need to wake up. I'm not saying that you can't pick one of the two and find more of your preferences with one party than the other. Of course you can. But you need to understand that most of the things these folks are telling you are not real. They're just not. They will take something that's relatively small and isolated and blow it into this big, huge problem that they can solve for you. Here's a news flash for you, folks. All Democrats are not anti-religion, perverted socialists, and all Republicans are not bigots, homophobe, and all the other phobes. It's just not the real world, folks. Stop falling for these stereotypes that are perpetuated by politicians and the media. And by the way, the media these days, now that the media can be accessed from 2,000 different sources 24/7, they've all become a bunch of sensationalist entities that also take these issues and blow them completely out of proportion and perpetuate these stereotypes for their benefit. And there's way too many of us out there that are being conned and used by the media and the politicians. And we need to stop. We need to stop being useful idiots for these entities. It's time to start exercising some logic. Please. Please. You know, if you listen to the media, here's an example. If you listen to somebody that looks like me, I've got to be a bigot, right? I mean, look at me. I'm a middle-aged old white dude that lives out in rural America. I've got to be a bigot, right? One of my dearest friends on the face of this earth is a black man. And I love this guy with all my heart. He lives up in the big city. He lives out up in the big city area. I live out in the rural area. He has some things that he's interested in that I'm not. It's just the nature of how we were brought up and all that. But there are a great many things, a great many hobbies and values and all of that we're simpatico on. And because we are so aligned on so many things, even though there's some things we're not aligned on, but we're so aligned on so many things that our friendship has flourished into, he's almost a brother to me. And when he and I are out together, it's funny because black people are looking over at us with this weird look on their face, and white people are looking at us with this weird look on our face. We can go out to lunch and I can be looking around the room, he can be looking, and we're getting all these weird looks because we're not supposed to be together. And the only reason that they think that is because that's what they're constantly told by all these crooks. Now listen, politicians are a very, very necessary part of our constitutional republic. We have to have them. But to be honest with you, they're a necessary evil. They are a very necessary evil. And that's exactly what our media has evolved into as well. We have to have the media. In a constitutional republic, you have to have the media to hold the power bases accountable. But honestly, the media is also perpetuating a lot of problems for us. We've got to stop being conned, and we've got to stop being useful idiots. Open your eyes. Use some logic. After you turn the TV off and go out in the public, forget about what the television said, forget about what the politicians said, and just exercise your logic, and you're going to find out that out in the real world, things are just not as bad as you're being told. Now, they can get pretty bad if you fall for all that and then go out in the real world and perpetuate it. But I think we're all more logical than that, or at least I pray that we are. Maybe people like me talking about it will help. Because when we get out into the real world, we just need to do the right thing and be logical and forget about what these politicians and these media people are telling you, and go enjoy your life. You do you, I'll do me, and everything will be just fine as long as you don't invade my personal space and you don't tell me that I'm less of a human being because I don't view things the way you do. That's when everything starts falling apart. And really the only reason any of that ever happens is politicians get us all stirred up. Live a good life, folks. I hope this video makes you think about all this stuff. I'm not going to do a whole lot of political videos, but this was on my heart this morning. I thought I would share it. If you like anything about what I'm doing on this channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video, hit the like button so I'll know whether or not I should stay on this frame of thinking and do things the way I'm doing it, or what. You know, maybe I'll just kill this whole YouTube idea. I don't know. I'm giving it a try just to see if I can do some good. But y'all have a good one. Take care.